All right, well, today I'm actually here in Texas, in Arlington. So United Rentals has kindly let us use their facilities. So I'm with Alma Duran. So thank you for coming on the Rental Journal podcast.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you asking me to join the podcast.
So to start off with, obviously you work at United Rentals, but let's just talk about you before United Rentals and how you first got in the industry, and then we'll get into the location that you work at.
Okay, so I worked for a small business. He owned 3 different businesses, and within those 3 businesses, they kind of all were joined together. So I was able to make my way through multiple avenues of rental industry, automotive industry, and finance. So I worked for them for almost 20 years, and it was just that time for me to kind of take a leap, and I probably wanted to have done it a long time ago, but I just was complacent where I was at. So I finally took that leap, and I joined United Rentals.
Okay, and so from a rental perspective, like, was that something that interested you from the very beginning, or was it as you went on you sort of started, because you said there was 3 businesses, so you started to like learn more about the rental component?
So I would say going into the rental industry, specifically rental industry, I was not prepared to just jump in that avenue. The opportunity was kind of handed to me, and so I pretty much ran with it. Okay,
and then so you worked at that company for a period of time, and then eventually you wanted to challenge yourself with some more things, and then how did that United Rentals piece sort of come to play?
So I definitely felt in my job where I was at, I needed some more advancement opportunity. I definitely wanted to grow and become someone better for my family. So opportunity kind of arose by a friend of the family who recommended I join United Rentals. And in the midst of all that, he said, just apply for the ranch. We can probably get you on. I already talked to my manager. They want to interview you. And so I did that, not knowing that there was multiple branches for United Rentals.
Just a few.
So I applied for the Power HVAC branch is what I had originally applied for. And so when my friend called and was like, hey, you didn't apply for the job, what's going on? And I was like, I've already had a recruiter interview, and I've also had a soft interview with the branch manager. And he's like, no, you have not interviewed at my facility. And I was like, I really did. And so I kind of had to go in and talk about that I had done the interview. And so I ended up going with Power HVAC side because they offered me the job, and it was exciting, and I wanted to take it. So hence, I started on the Power HVAC side of United Rentals.
Wow. So how disappointed and annoyed was the other branch manager at that point in time?
He didn't really know me, so it was just where I felt, it was a new step for me. So at some point I was like, you need to jump on, if you're ready to get out of where you're at, jump into that.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm recruiting for other branches now. Oh, that's funny. So you said that you didn't know that there was multiple United Rentals branches. Obviously, there's like quite a lot of them around the United States. So did you know much about United when you first started?
I did not. I had seen their equipment here and there. I mean, if I had to pick which equipment I knew, I'd see a forklift down the street, big equipment. So I assumed that everybody worked just for United Rentals, but come to find out, there's quite a bit of branches, different variety that we all take care of customers with. And then
so, like, moving into that HVAC side, how much of a learning curve was there when you first, and what was your first role, do you say?
So my first role was an inside sales rep, and so basically now as a branch manager, I feel like the inside sales rep is the heart of the company. They take care of everything from the beginning of the rental to dealing with the sales rep all the way to sending it out and making sure it gets to the customer correctly and then back in the yard again. So that was my first role. I didn't know a lot about the rental industry at all as far as, equipment coming back quickly and dealing with multiple customers. So it was a learning step for sure. And so from there, as an inside sales rep, we kind of just went into senior inside sales rep, and then I was promoted to outside sales rep, and then now I am currently a branch manager.
Okay, so maybe just for the listeners in the United Rentals realm, like, what's the difference between like an inside sales rep and an outside sales rep?
So I think with the inside sales rep role, you perform functions within the branch that you deal with everybody on a daily basis. On the outside sales role, you pretty much have to go find the customers, develop relationships, and bring the business to the table.
Okay, and you did both roles?
I did do both roles, yes, sir.
Did you find one harder than the other, or did you find one more interesting?
So at first, I mean, I would say that being inside sales was pretty amazing because you were able to work within the branch. You dealt with other local branches when you needed equipment that you didn't have, or you were able to just communicate more. As far as the outside role, it was not a step that I was willing to take at the moment. So my old district manager, he actually said, I need you to take this role. And so it was a step that I had to take a leap for. And I was not the best. I was probably not the best person at that time. I was pretty upset because I felt like inside operational was the key that I should be in. But he believed in me, and he saw something in me that maybe at the time I didn't see. But now if I had to pick between the two, I feel that I have a compassion for people and communication level. So I would pick outside sales because it just makes you, it makes you stronger. It makes you develop yourself and make sure that we take care of the customer 100%.
So there's a lot more cold calling and visiting job sites.
Absolutely.
And trying to drum up business.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first site visit like, or your first cold call like?
So we actually went to a refinery in West Texas, and going into a big facility as that, it's something that I'd never experienced. So luckily, the people that I deal with and, some of the sales reps that I've dealt with, we kind of work together. So we do ride-alongs so that we can teach others to grow. And that's something that I do in my branch now is I encourage my sales reps to go ride along with each other, ride along with, a service manager, just so that we can target issues and problems, but also all learn to be better at our craft.
Yeah, and then also just get warm introductions to customers and stuff
absolutely.
like that. That's the easiest part. When you get that first introduction, it's much easier to talk to them the next time.
And so that's one of the great things about United Rentals is we call it when you are. So basically, whether it's the Gen Rent side or the Fluid side or the Trent side, someone has a relationship with someone out in our area in West Texas. So if I know a customer at the refinery in the pump division and I bring Gen Rent's sales rep with me, I introduce them to the same contact so that way they can develop a relationship as well. So that's a good thing about United Rentals is we kind of share leads and share customers and pass around the business.
Yeah, interesting. So then the first job in the HVAC, that was in Texas, but whereabouts?
In Midland as well.
Okay, Midland. And then so eventually you moved into a branch manager role. So how did that transition eventually happen?
So the opportunity arose because the position was opened for a branch manager in Fluid Solutions. And so I went to the interview, and funny thing is, when I was originally going to apply for the job that my friend had recommended, it was in pumps division. So come for full circle, when I interviewed with my district manager, then I said, funny thing is I originally was going to interview for this role. I ended up taking the power HVAC, but so now I'm on the Fluid Solutions side.
It was destiny.
Destiny for sure.
So maybe just for the listeners, when you say you're working at the power HVAC side and then you're now in the fluid side, so what's the main differences between those sort of branches?
So there's both specialty branches within United Rentals. Fluid Solution deals with pumps, frac tanks, water filtration, water storage, carbon filtration, frac tanks, anything that sort that deals with water, moving water, dewatering, anything like that. As far as the power HVAC side, they provide power. So we have generators, we have, they also do heating and cooling. So we have the big industrial heaters and air conditioners to take care of any application within industrial. And
then so it sounds like on because you're in the fluid side now, that's just not a normal, someone walks up to the United Rentals and says they want to rent something. It's usually always project-based typically, or like how's the engagement normally set out?
So every now and then we do get a few customers that will walk in and say that they need a pump and they didn't have a reservation or call in or whatnot. But for the most part, it's usually an application that they know that they need the pump or they need a frac tank, or they're, needing to clean the water. So they have a process of what they've already, what they're dealing with to know that they need us.
Yeah. And then so there's sales reps that specialize in that fluid solution side as well, and then they're sort of working through. So that when you said that you were on the HVAC side, were you focusing purely on that?
Purely, 100%. So 100% on the power HVAC side, 100% on the fluid side. We pass leads to other sales reps that handle the other division. So if power HVAC needed something, I would pass the lead to the power HVAC side because that's their specialty. They're going to know way more than I do about that certain project.
And then eventually becoming a branch manager, was that a big learning curve as well?
So I've always kind of been in a position as far as my previous employment where I managed multiple people. As far as the facility that I'm at now, it entails a lot of detail as far as technicians and yard cleaning. We're very 5S safety oriented. I would say that the biggest aspect within United Rentals is to work safe. So teaching that culture and strategy and techniques to our employees is very important to us.
And then so in terms of like as a branch, maybe just because I think a lot of people listening to this are interested in just learning more about United Rentals. So maybe just want to talk about the day-to-day operations of a branch manager within United Rentals.
So day-to-day would be coming in. We have a safety meeting every morning and make sure everybody's there and visible. We're all working safe. We're dressed appropriately. And then we look as far as what rentals we have going on. And usually we do that the day before, so we're ahead of the game. Technicians are consistently working on pumps and frac tanks and making sure we have the equipment available for our sales reps. So far as BM, watching and checking with my service manager and making sure that we're moving in a positive direction to provide the fleet to our customers and for our sales reps to go out and rent. And the inside row operation is just making sure that we're bringing in the equipment that we need or making sure the reservations are put in properly and they're going in and out the door to take care of the customer. And then I would say as far as the sales, constant learning, constant coaching, making sure that they're developing the relationships that are needed to earn business and referrals.
And then obviously United Rentals is the largest rental company in the world and there's a lot of employees within it. When you first joined, like what was the onboarding like? Was it something like very welcoming? Like what was the culture like?
United Rentals is very family oriented, so welcoming. You receive emails like we're looking forward to you joining the team. They consistently check up on you, making sure that everything you need is taken care of. Do you have any questions? So onboarding with United Rentals is pretty pleasant. I mean, it's quick. They take care of you, and then they bring you into the team. And I would say that coming into a team, especially my team, I feel we're very family oriented, and so making sure everybody is complacent and works well and talks well, and giving everybody the ability to do their own job and give them the space to make sure it happens is what's needed to kind of keep that family oriented environment.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like to have over 2,000 locations and 22,000 employees, like you said before, like still have that family feel is quite amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I would say knowing even upper management, the way they talk with you, the way they sit you down, the way they put you in classes to kind of build you up as far as confidence, as far as sales, as far as every role, basically, there's some sort of training. United Rentals definitely takes care of their employees, and it's fun because you don't have to. You meet multiple people along the way that either you develop a relationship and they help you. Hey, I was an ISR 5 years ago. If you have any questions, I can help you. And so it's that camaraderie within United Rentals. We can call a local branch, for instance, the one here in Dallas, and have quick conversation about how things are going, and then talk about equipment. I've got you, no problem, and continue that family knitted conversation.
And I think the other benefit is, like, let's say I wanted to move to Alabama like we know that there's probably going to be a branch over there. So like you can if you want to move your family, like you can obviously plan to maybe transfer between states and stuff like that as well.
Definitely a good thing to have the ability to transfer out. Permission and making sure everything availability is there for you, but you do have the option to transfer within not just states, or we're in Canada, we're also in England, or I don't know exactly where that is, but it's also stores, so I can transfer to Power HVAC, I can transfer to the Trent store, and kind of grow my skill set.
Yeah, that's something that I talk about a lot on the podcast, is the fact that like rental isn't just one set specific niche. Like you can choose all these different markets that you can go into and get a wide skill set. So is that something that you were aware of before you joined the industry, and how broad it actually was?
I really didn't realize how broad the market was until I switched to the pump division. So Power HVAC, growing in outside sales, developing customers, relationships, and that business. And then coming into the power side, I was thinking, man, I'm going to have to start over. I'm going to have to build all these relationships because it's a total different product. But it wasn't that way at all. The market was pretty similar, and so I was able to pull some customers that we weren't doing business with in the pump side that we were on Power HVAC, and bring them into the pump side as well. So that was pretty exciting.
And also exciting is you actually won a couple of awards recently, which was the President's Award and also the Women's Leadership Award. So just talk about some of those and sort of how that sort of came about.
So it was a complete surprise. As far as the Women's Award, United Rentals holds a conference once a year, and they give out awards to multiple people. Within the region, I was voted Women's United, which was pretty exciting. The comments on the call, because it was WebEx, was, it's because they're LinkedIn post, and so I don't know really how I won that award, but it was truly an honor. And as far as the President's Award, I was one of 16 employees within the company, and basically I was nominated by upper management, and you had to submit letters of recommendation, you had to submit customer letters of recommendation, and also from your coworkers, letters came from there. So it was kind of a all-in-one, and I was one of the 16 that it was the first year they did it. So last year was the first year that they did the President's Award, and I was truly honored to receive that award. It's
amazing. Like, I'm assuming you probably networked with a lot of other people, United Rentals, after winning those awards.
Oh, absolutely. Again, family-oriented as far as fluid solutions, and talking with, anywhere from an ISR to a DM, that congratulations, job well done. But they see, I feel like we network enough that they see everything that's going on, not just in their branch, but everybody's branches, because we all care about taking care of the customer.
And obviously, we're getting so many different recommendations. Like, people obviously see the good things that you're doing with United Rentals, but you must have like a passion. Like, you must give off those vibes as well. Like, is that something that you're very aware of, or is it just like a natural thing? Like, what do you sort of think it comes from?
I think it's more of a natural thing. I care about people. I care about individuals. I care about my team, and making sure that everybody is being built up. I felt like in my younger days, if I had someone that was like, I'm going to push you, I'm going to grow you, I'm going to develop you, that's who I want to be. And so as far as taking care of customers, customer service is my hardcore bottom line. Everybody knows at my branch that first thing is the customer, and if we can't get it, we'll figure it out. So saying no is an option, because I feel that we can find a way to take care of the customer. So I feel like it's just a natural thing. It's just, I was raised in a small town, so in a small town you have to push to get out of the small town, right? So you have to push yourself to be better and get the college scholarship or whatnot. So I feel like it's just something that was instilled in me to persevere, I guess you could say.
That's nice. And so on the women's side, winning that award, like, it obviously probably has brought like another bunch of women together to sort of like network and whatnot. But in terms of maybe advice that you would give to other women in the industry, like what would you sort of say to them?
So to any woman out there, I would definitely say to walk in the door with confidence. Confidence is going to bring you to the table. It's going to bring you to win deals. It's going to bring you to be better, and for other women to kind of follow behind you, so that you're that leader that brings them along and coaches them, and they see you're visible, basically. So I would recommend that you push yourself, you put your feet down, and you jump that rope, and you cross that street and jump over the mountain, because at the end of the day, if you don't give it all that you have, or you don't be the best that you're going to be, you're going to kind of stay at a standstill. And so, especially in West Texas, I feel like women are sometimes put to the side, because it's more of a man's world in that area. And so I feel like if you know your product, and you know what you're talking about, and you walk in with full confidence, ready to rock and roll, you're going to earn more respect, and they're going to realize that you can get the job done.
Did you have any weird encounters at the start, like when you're obviously trying to explain the product or get to that point, trying to gain the respect? Because like I've heard crazy stories where I had someone on the podcast where the the customer was asking for a mail, and then it was the branch manager that they were talking to, and I was like, I can answer your question, it's all good. Like, have you had any weird scenarios like that come through?
I can recall one. It was when I was an inside sales rep, and a customer had called the branch and was disgruntled, and he just let it all out, and it wasn't very nice. And so the within United Rentals, they coach you to kind of talk back to customers, and so the object was to, okay, let them vent, let them get it out, and then go ahead and talk back to them in a polite way. And so in that instance, it was like, oh my gosh, listen to him. He's yelling at me. He's mad. He doesn't even know what is going on. I don't even know what's going on and why he's griping, because it's just going 100 miles an hour. But the way that they teach you to talk to customers was in a great conversation, because once you let them speak and say what they have to say, I asked them, okay, this is what I gathered from what you just told me, so let's walk through this. And after that polite conversation, ended the call. So that's probably like the worst instance. It's
still a pretty good instance, like that. That seems pretty good, yeah.
That was pretty. But at the end of the conversation, he's like, "Thank you so much, ma'am." But it's just a way of how you talk to people, and how your feedback is back to them.
Yeah, I think confidence is a big key, like you mentioned. Like, I feel like a lot of people have like preconceived thoughts before they even go into like a situation. Like they just assume it's a male-dominated industry, and that's it. But it's not the case. Like the women, every year it's getting more and more women are getting involved.
100%.
Are you involved in any sort of women's groups within the industry?
So within United Rentals, we have a women's division called Women United, and so I was actually a district lead within the Permian, and so there was 22 women within the Permian Basin, and we held monthly meetings, and in some of those meetings, one of the funnest things that we put together was a tire change out, a blowout, and so we brought one of our vendors that handles our tires, and so I was like, hey, I want to do this scenario where you come and change a flat, and we show women how to change tires. And so that was probably the best one, the most exciting one. There was one where we did vision boards, and we each had a competition, and we were able to sit there and show what we want to be within the industry, within United Rentals. And then it went all the way to volunteering at local charities and being a part of organizations. So little things like that. I do have a variety of women sales reps that I hang out with, and that's always encouraging, because I feel like we each have struggles sometimes, and so we're able to communicate about an instance or a scenario of what happened. And not just that, I think motivation is key with being in an oil field industry, because, and again, it could happen to anybody, but I feel that women uplift each other, and that's really big in West Texas. We came to Dallas one month in May last year, and women's retreat, and it was just a bunch of sales reps that all came, and we had some fun, and has discussed and talked and developed each other. So yes, I do have women friends that, things that we do together to kind of push each other to succeed.
No, that's good. That's and you mentioned before the podcast that you're involved in a program where United Rentals gives back to people within the organisation that are struggling with certain things. So do you want to just talk about that program that you're involved?
So the Compassion Fund, it's an organization within United Rentals that we have where employees donate a small portion of their check. And this goes into a fund where if any employee within United Rentals has any struggles or any life-changing events, they can apply and have pretty much benefits given to them to help them out in scenarios that they may be going through.
Yeah, it seems like you're involved in a lot of things with United Rentals. Yeah, you obviously I can see that you bleed United Rentals.
Go Team United.
But I can feel like your passion. So I think it's a great thing that you've got going on.
I feel like I truly love United Rentals, and I think it's all about the leadership, the people that have come into my life within United Rentals. Ooh, I might get emotional. The people that have come into my life and just set an example that just have pushed you and believed in you and helped you along the way. So Team United, 100%.
That's awesome. So what do you think has been the biggest challenge you've faced in your career so far? Like, was it the early days learning the equipment? Was it going into a new role? Was it a new type of branch? Like, what do you think was the biggest challenge?
So I think the biggest challenge in my career would have been leaving my company of 20 years because I was so complacent where I was at. And I didn't know, I was right at 40 years old, and I thought, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to take this next step and start over? And so I would say that was the biggest obstacle. Within United Rentals, I think the biggest obstacle would have been realizing that sales was my passion, because I feel if I didn't have that push, I'd probably still be on the operations side of United Rentals.
And so you're basically saying that when you were younger, you weren't actively managing your career, you would say?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that I was just complacent. So I have a degree that I do not use because I chose to stay in the industry that I was for 20 years, and I feel like I feel United has pushed me to want to be better, so to speak, and want to grow because they offer so many opportunities that I can see where I want to be within the company, and goal is to get there, right?
Yeah. What was your degree?
Child family studies, so educator, teacher.
Yeah, that's a great skill to have as well. Like, you obviously learn the communication side and all that sort
Absolutely.
of stuff. So it's good to hear that United's like pushing you almost to be a better person as well.
I think so. My husband would definitely say that I think about United all the time.
You wake up in the middle of the night just talking, we need that pump. We need that pump.
Pretty much, yep, I would say that.
We need to move water. We're running out of hoses.
Yep. What time do you need that pump?
That's awesome. So you've mentioned a few key people on the way, but who do you think played a big influence on you from a mentor perspective?
So this is a tough question because, man, I've been so blessed. I really have. I've met so many amazing people along the way. If I had to narrow it down, I'd break it up into three. The first would be my husband and my family, and because no matter what came about, or change of roles or change of customers, coming in irate and me venting, whatever happened, they've always had my back. They always told me, you've got this, you can do this, you can present this, you're going to win this. When it was big deals, they were like, you got this, you're great at what you do. And so I would say on the encouragement side and the believing side of mentorship, that would definitely be my family and my husband. And as far as like the the second person that's next to me that has my back, it would be the group of ladies that I hang out with 100%. I have two friends two of my best friends that are in sales as well, and so I can call them at any time and say, this is what happened today, what do I do? And they're going to give me the best advice. And so mentorship, as far as with them, they make me take that next step, and they push me to know that I can succeed in that area. And as far as just skill set and development, I would say my district managers and district sales managers in both Power HVAC and Fluid Solutions have been ideal role models for me. One of them pushed me into sales, and again, he saw something that I didn't think that I had, and now it's my passion. I love sales. One of them coaches me up every single day, and he kind of pricks me with a needle to push me to say, like, I'm going to poke you until you get this done because you can do it. And so he pushes my limits to make sure that we're successful. And another one, he recently passed away from COVID, but he just always had my back 100% and talked to me super calmly when I was upset or didn't know what to do in this whole going to outside sales role. So he was in charge of one of the areas that we deal with was fuel. And so he was like, we can sell fuel. We can, it's another side revenue for United Rentals. You can sell fuel, you got this, here's what we can do. And just it was a growing area for him. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. And so we solely went with fuel. And so when he passed away and I started with the fluid side, it was kind of like hand in hand. I brought to the table to my current district manager that it was something that I could do, like I knew it. And so right now we are leading the pack on the fuel. And so it's just those people that, they just hit a soft spot for me, and the biggest thing is that they believed and they pushed me to be where I'm at today.
That's amazing. So do you want to talk about that fuel side a bit more? I think people will be interested in just learning about, so before and after, so what do you actually provide as a service in that area?
So United Rentals does have fuel tanks ranging anywhere from a 500-gallon fuel tank all the way up to 4,000. There are some a little bigger than that, but that's kind of the area that they specialize in. What we do is we're able to hook those up into our product, whether it be a pump or a generator or a compressor. We tie those directly into the fuel tank so that it doesn't need fuel quite as often as the little 45-gallon tank that it has on it. So, we work through third-party vendors who provide the full fuel for us, so we're able to provide them with one invoice is the biggest thing, and as they don't have to deal with multiple vendors. We take care of their fuel, we take care of their fuel drops, we take care of the fuel tank, and service issues if they have fuel filter needs, we can handle the fuel tank and the pump itself. So that's the biggest factor. Customers like that it's again the one bill versus 5 different bills, 5 different POs, whatever they have to deal with. So it goes directly into one bill.
Yeah, and I think I had walked past one. I was walking past a job site in Dallas, and I saw it's like a shipping container, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I saw it. So it was pumping fuel into something. And then that might be a pretty interesting topic as well with the price of fuel at the moment.
Absolutely.
So I think being able to consolidate everything down and control those prices is probably a key thing for your end customers as well.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it eliminates having to have any technicians go out and constantly fuel. So you're not spending gas to get the fuel out there just to put, 100 gallons or 200 gallons. Some of our equipment, we are able to put actual SMBs on the fuel tank. So we're able to provide the feedback of how much fuel they're using, what areas of fuel at the time frame of what's used the most, how many gallons are left in the fuel tank. So different variety of options for the customer as far as fuel.
Like a telematics to get the data from the actual, that's pretty cool. Oh, very nice. And then, so it sounds like you've sort of gone through various phases in your life, but if you could give some advice to your younger self, what would you say?
I kind of probably already said it. As far as a younger self, I would say to take the leap is the biggest thing. know what you want and know what you want to do, and don't let anybody stop you along the way. And if you have someone that tells you you're going to be good at this, believe them, because they see something that you haven't seen or you haven't really thought about maybe. So take the opportunity. Go right, go left, go uphill, go downhill, whatever it takes. If you're ready to pursue and be somebody, just go with it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like what is it like? What do they say? Ignorance is bliss. Like if you don't know something, and then you open that door, it opens up a whole new range of things, and then like you think that you know so much, and then you learn about some new skill, and you realize that you actually know nothing.
Absolutely, and that goes even like with my team. We're very, again, family oriented, but they know processes that maybe they brought from a different employer that we could benefit within the branch, or maybe they've tried something new. So we're all about opportunity and opening the doors. No set way within the branch can establish a better result, right? You have to try it. So I definitely feel opening the doors, like learn as much as you can, when you can, however you can, whether it's the hard learn, like someone's tough on you, or someone's the love learn where they're coaching you and mentoring you, or it's just the opportunity that happened at that time. Learn as much as you can.
And then, so how do you define success in the scheme of all this?
I think success is happiness. At the end of the day, it's the visual concept that you set goals, and whether it be mentally or physically, you handled them. You took care of them. You didn't take 10 steps up the ladder, one big step to get there. You took 10 baby steps to get there. And along that way, you've developed yourself to be a better person, to be a better team member, coworker, family member. Just in general, you're just better, and that just makes you happy. Because again, I feel like within United Rentals, I love my job. I truly love my job, and I love it because I have teammates that help, and I love coaching and helping teammates. And we took the step to have meetings and talk about things and develop things. And so along the way, it's not just about me either. It's about what am I leaving behind for my successor? Like, who am I leaving the right trait behind? And so knowing that I'm coaching and helping, and I'm happy about doing it and loving it, I think, will help United Rentals along the way too, because that's everybody within United Rentals. We strive to make a better team environment for everybody.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right, Alma, well, thank you for coming on the Rental Journal podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Mark.